I want to talk today about how you can make millions with paid ads, and the reason I say it this way is because it's really the one thing and key that completely changed my life and my business. For over 7 years, I ran a design agency with a team of 8 people, big overheads, but every single morning I woke up scared because the only way we could pay rent and the wages we had was if more referrals came in. And I never had a clear, predictable path to grow. The most frustrating thing was we had a great product. Our clients referred us to everyone. We worked very hard. We had our own fancy office. We won the Amazing Design Awards, but underneath I still felt stuck. Fast forward to today, I can sign clients whenever I wanted to by running paid ads. And I've had hundreds of other business owners do the exact same thing. It's a skill in business that almost feels like a superpower. Waking up every morning knowing that you have the skills to attract clients, to sign clients consistently and predictably is just so freeing. And I wish someone had sat me down to show me how this all works before I started my first business, because it would have saved me so much heartache, so much time, and so much frustration. Because it was so frustrating to see other competitors who had terrible service delivery, who had a terrible product, were still winning clients on top of us. And now having that skill, I understand why it's all possible. And so over the last few years, I've really had to develop some first principles around client acquisition. Because we're living in an interesting time where everything is so fast. Everything is tactics. Everyone talks about having crazy offers and guarantees. And everyone's trying to sell you their new thing by telling you not to do the thing that you're trying to do right now. And I can understand how confusing it all sounds. Now look, some of these tactics work and they're great. But unless you have first principles where you can anchor your knowledge, you really just have fragmented information. It's like you learn a little tactic over here, you watch another YouTube video and try that specific thing, and everyone's contradicting each other. But what you actually want is a foundation where you can build from the ground up. I learned this the hard way. I tried outsourcing my problem. I hired sales teams, I hired marketing agencies, and I burned through thousands of my own money and nothing ever worked. And I got to a stage where I was telling myself, paid ads don't work for me, my market is different, it won't work in my country, all of these leads are terrible quality. Until I finally invested my own money into a consultant who was doing 7 figures in the same industry as me. Someone who had cracked the code on paid ads and was applying it to a business that was similar to mine. The first thing he asked me when we started working together was one question that started to change everything. He said, "What's your offer and who are you serving?" And my response was, "We do web design for businesses. We work with everyone." And he had a little smile on his face and he said, "So you're trying to make sales and run ads without having a clear offer." And I thought my offer was, we do web design. And at that moment, it was almost like a switch flipped. All this time I was focused on the tactics, the ads, the sales teams, the funnels, Facebook ads, Google ads, but I had missed the first principle to be able to make paid ads work. Most people go into paid ads thinking you just need to run an ad campaign, use an image, and start generating leads. And over time, I started to realize that client acquisition isn't a single event, like running an ad and getting a lead. It's a process. It's a journey you have to guide people on to take a specific action. And from my end, I had no clear path, I had no clear offer, and there was nothing that they would follow to be able to want to work with me. I was just shouting into the void, hoping someone would hear me. We do web design, who needs a website? Not solving any real problem, just promoting my services. And that's when the wheels started to click on, when I started to think about things differently. It's not really a funnel you push people through. It's a bridge you need to build to be able to guide them across. A bridge that takes them from where they are right now, which is in pain, with a problem they currently have, to where they want to be, with a solution. Because if we build a bridge that builds trust with every single step, we can get them from where they are to where they want to go, and we can know exactly what we need to be doing at each individual step. You see, most people think signing clients is just generating qualified, highly ready to buy leads, but that doesn't really exist. What you need to understand is, what you need is a bridge. A bridge that's comprised over 6 essential stepping stones. And each one is a process and a skill you need to learn and you need to guide your prospects on to be able to actually want to work with you. If you miss one of these steps, your clients are going to fall through. But once you have them all, getting to the other side is inevitable and easy. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we can build that bridge together for you to understand the mechanisms and the frameworks and the foundations you need to have to be able to get paid ads to work for you. So let's jump right in. So the first thing we need to understand is, what type of bridge are we building and what are the steps we need to take in order to get a new lead that has been generated through a paid ad and then actually sign them as a client. Because we need to understand that each individual step of this process has different skills we need to learn and acquire if we want to be able to sign clients. Because when you think about the core principle is, The reason why you're running paid ads is because you want to sign more clients. Lead generation, generating a lead, is the first stepping stone to be able to sign a client. So we need to understand the steps from lead gen all the way to converting and making sure we're not skipping any of the steps, because that's the reason why most people fail. The first step is we need to generate a lead through paid ads. The second step is we need to make sure we engage with that lead. We need to start a conversation, we need to ask open-ended questions, and we need to lower sales resistance so they feel like they can talk to us and they're not getting sold. Because in today's world, everyone's selling shit to everyone. Everyone's stuffing their mechanism and their offer down everyone's throats. So what we want to do is just act normal and be normal human beings to be able to engage them, genuinely care about their interests and what they're trying to achieve, and then qualifying them, which would be the next step. So we generate a lead through paid ads. That's the easy part. We then engage them into a conversation. We then qualify them to see if they're a good fit for us to work with. And then that's when we convert them and have sales process. But every single one of these steps has skills we need to learn. For leads, we need to learn paid ads. Then to engage, we need to learn how to communicate automations and actually what to say in the scripts to use. In qualifying stage, we need to learn the scripts and the way we're going to be asking these questions so it doesn't feel like we're interrogating people. And then we need to know how to actually convert them with a clear sales process on a sales call. But the problem is most people generate a lead and then try to convert them straight away and complain, these leads suck, the quality is not good. Obviously, the leads don't suck. What sucks is your ability to actually convert that lead into a sale. So I'm going to show you each individual step, how we can get leads, how we can engage leads, how we can qualify leads, how we can convert them from beginning to end. So the first thing we need to understand is that this bridge is not possible without having an offer. We need to have a clearly defined, simple offer that explains what you do in a simple way. The best way for us to understand this bridge in the frameworks we're going to be using is plotting it out in this specific graph. Because over here, what we can understand is the first thing we're going to focus on is your offer. Once we have an offer, we're going to be using organic content and paid ads. Today, we're just talking about paid ads. And then paid ads, we're going to choose a platform where our clients and our dream clients would be to run these paid ads on. Once we select the platform, we're going to be using all of the different angles we have and the ads we've created that I'll explain to you shortly, driving them to opt in to fill out a form to learn more about what we're actually selling. Once they fill out the form, they're going to be then diverted to an offer page. On this offer page, there's going to be a video that explains exactly what it is your offer is, how it works, why it works, proof that it works, to get people to book in a call with you. Because no one's going to book in a call directly from an ad without understanding who you are, what you do, and what not. We are not sending them to your website. We are going to send them to a dedicated page that just has a headline text, a video explaining what your offer is and how it works, and a way for them to book in a call. Once they click on the button to book in a call, they're going to fill out a survey with a couple of questions to further qualify this lead, so you're not getting random people booking into your calendar. They're then diverted to a calendar page where they can book directly in, and that's when you schedule a sales call, have a sales process that I'll explain to you later, and that's how you sign a client. So as you can tell, there's a lot of steps and a lot of effort and work to get this done right, because at each individual stage of this bridge, there's going to be different metrics we need to look at to understand where the biggest bottleneck in our bridge is, in our funnel is. Because without knowing that, we're not sure where we need to optimize. So it's very important, and I'm going to explain this later, that we understand the numbers and the mechanisms in order to get this work. Because there's a lot of moving parts here, and at each individual stage, there's different things we need to optimize and learn and update in order to get this to work. One more thing on top of this is, if we build this out correctly, people are going to click on this, watch this video, fill out this form, book in a call, and then have a sales call. There's a lot of friction for that to happen, and a lot of people will drop off once they watch this video or not even watch the video. So what we also have to do is we're going to use SMS to engage leads in a conversation and start conversations and book more calls. We're going to contact every single lead. We're going to call every single lead, and we're going to email every single lead. And the reason why we do this is that we want to squeeze as much money as we can make out of the budget we're putting into this client acquisition system. We want to make sure as many people cross this bridge that we spoke about earlier as possible. And if there's cracks in our bridge, then people are going to fall through and slip through the cracks. So we want to maximize the amount of people that we can get on book calls and we can close. Around 80% of the calls will come through the bridge and through this funnel, and another 20-25% will come through you calling, SMSing, and emailing all of these people. On top of that, we'll then use retargeting and organic content to be able to build further trust, but I'll explain more of this later. As long as you understand now how the actual bridge works and how the funnel actually works from beginning to end, and all of the different moving parts, now you can start to understand how you can make this work. Because most people think we run an ad, we make a sale. If we don't make a sale, then the leads suck. When in actual fact, there's no system to actually make it work. So by understanding the foundations of this, hopefully this is making more sense to you to understand how this is all going to work. So what I'm going to do now is break down each individual part of this bridge so you can understand the different mechanisms and skills you need to learn to actually make it work. So the first thing we have to understand of this whole thing is the offer. How can we build out an offer and what does it mean? So I'm going to quickly cover this and not go into too much detail because we can be here for a whole hour talking about offer creation. However, the simplest way to explain this is that what we want is one clear offer that solves one specific problem for one type of client. Now, I know you might be told, you should work with everyone, or you're thinking that your market is too small. It's not too small. And the more specific and niche you can go down, the better for you it can be. I'm going to give you an example from my web design agency. So we used to build websites for everyone. Whoever it came in, a restaurant, real estate company, an e-commerce website. And that caused so much friction and complexity inside the business that we never really were sure when we were making money, when we're not. Because one time we'd get results for our clients, one time we wouldn't. And it was a nightmare not just for us internally because the team was always scattered, but for our clients because we couldn't promise consistent results. Because every time we'd go into a new niche and then a new market and think we understood it, but every single market and every single client and every single niche has different nuances that you need to understand to be able to make it work. So what we did was we understood who was our best client. For us, that was property developers who were looking to sell real estate directly to their clients. So we shifted our offer from being we can help you design websites to saying we help real estate developers attract 10 qualified buyer leads every single month and sell directly to their clients. We didn't even sell the website. We didn't communicate the website. Those were the services and the mechanisms we use in order to get them results. We use websites, we run ads, and we built an ecosystem. But we didn't promote that and we didn't talk about that because that's not speaking to the problem the clients had. The problem our property developer clients had was they didn't want to sell to real estate agents because they were losing on commissions and they wanted to make more profit. So we positioned our offer as the solution. One client, one offer, one specific problem, one type of client. Another example of this would be rather than saying we help real estate agents with digital marketing services, we help real estate agents book 10 appointments per month through Facebook ads. Can you see the difference? Real estate agents don't want marketing services, they just want more qualified leads. And your clients typically would want the same thing as well. So what you want to promote and talk about and communicate to them is the thing that they want. And that's what we can understand by going so specific and so deep. We can speak and call out the problems in our ads that make our ads work. So without a clearly defined offer, your ads are going to go unnoticed. Everyone's going to ignore them because they feel generic. We build websites, or we can help you build a website, doesn't solve a problem. But telling clients we can help you sign more clients through building an optimized website, that is what they want. So we need to communicate and understand what the pain point we're solving is, for who it solves for, and what our offer is. And for my clients, when we work together, we have an offer creation system where we go to client clarity first, understand who the client is. We then build a bridge. We build a bridge similar to the one I just showed you in the past that gets them from where they are to where they want to go. We then show them how to deliver the service, and we then build out their offer document so they have one clear document to show them how it works. Now, I have another video explaining exactly how this works, so I'll put a link in the description for you to be able to go and watch it if you want to learn more about how to build out an offer. Now, once we have our offer, the next thing is we need to understand the funnel and business maths. This is one thing that I overlooked when I was starting out. I just thought, I'm going to run ads, I'm going to spend money, but I had no idea about my business maths in order to make sure, am I profitable? Is this working? And how much should I be spending in order to be signing clients? So you shouldn't be running any ads if you haven't done this yet. If you don't understand your business metrics and your business maths, do not run ads because you're wasting your time, your money, and you have no idea if it's working or not, which is basically the dumbest thing you can do. And I can say with confidence, I was that dumbest shit guy before I started out. I was spending money on ads, throwing shit at things, hoping something works, but had no idea why. So I'm going to show you how to do this in the most simple way possible. So we have a budget calculator that we can use in order for us to figure out how much money we should be spending to be making money profitably when it comes to running our ads. So let's say we're running an offer that's 10,000 euros. Let's keep it whole. And my ad spend budget for the next 30 days is 20,000 euros. My profit margins on that 10,000 offer I'm selling is around 75%. Okay. So let's say I have $20,000 to spend this month on ads, and I'm selling something that's worth $10,000. That's how much I charge for my product. My profit margin on that $10,000 is 75%, right? My profit margins of delivery and everything else. And my client lifetime value is around 15,000 euros. So I know that I'm charging 10,000, but typically they're spending 15,000 euros with their lifetime whilst they're working with me, because after the offer is finished and I sell them the service, they typically keep spending money and working with me on other things that I help them solve. So on average, my client lifetime value is $15,000. So you have to understand these metrics, because without them, you have no idea how much money you should be spending to make money profitably. Now, these are industry standard ones I've put together here. So the best result would be if I get a cost per lead of around $15, a cost per book call around $150, the show up rate of people showing up to the call is around 70%, and my close rate is around 30%. These are very conservative numbers, but I'm just saying this for you to understand. Ideally, we're hitting these targets. On average, an average result would be $25 cost per lead, a cost per book call $250, show up rate around 60%, close rate 20%. The worst case scenario is $40 cost per lead, $400 cost per book call, show up rate 50%, close rate 10%. Now, these are industry KPIs. These are industry KPIs. If you're selling a B2B, these can be as high as $400 to $500 per booked call, because typically we can charge way more. The idea here is that if we have more profit and we have a higher client lifetime value, we can spend, and we're willing to spend more money to acquire a customer because we have more profit. It means we're still making money. So the higher your price and the higher your profits, these will change depending on what that actually looks like. Because if you're selling a low ticket, it's very hard to make this work because the numbers would not make sense from a business profitability point of view. So here are the performance metrics. These are projected funnel metrics that are based upon the assumptions we've put in here. So if I'm spending $20,000 on ads a month, that means I'll generate 1,333 leads in the best case scenario. I'll book around 133 booked calls with this specific metric here, 150 per call. The number of shows to the call are 93 people will show up based on the 70% show up rate. And the number of sales will be 28 based on the 30% close rate I'm talking about here. So that means I would have generated $280,000. My ROAS, my return on revenue, will be 14. That's insanely high. What we want to do is have a minimum of a 3-to-1 ratio, meaning for every $1 I spend, I make $3 on the back end. In this case, it's a 14-to-1 ratio. So for every dollar I spend, I'm making 14. That's unheard of, and that's insane results to actually have. So that's the best case scenario. Average case is around a 5 in this case, 5-to-1 ratio, meaning I put in $1, I make 5. And this worst case is 1.5-to-1. So meaning every dollar I spend, I make 50 cents. So that's not good, because if something happens and my profitability drops, I'm not making much money, and we don't want that to happen. So once you understand these, then it just becomes a number game of understanding how much money can I spend. If I have these metrics, how much money will I make on the back end? And it was a really empowering thing to see, because once you start getting your funnel to work and you start optimizing all of these different things, then it's just like, shit, okay, no wonder people spend millions a month on ads, because they understand their numbers and their metrics to actually make it work. So coming up, I'll show you how and what these all look like and how we can optimize them to actually make sense of what we're talking about here. But you have to understand these numbers and metrics before we start running ads to understand what we're willing to spend to be able to sign a client. The key metrics and key numbers you need to understand are revenue, which is basically your number of sales times how much you spend, how much you're selling your offer for. Your net profit, which is your revenue times your profit margins minus your ad spend. Your ROI means the net profit divided by the ad spend, basically how much money you keep per $1 spent. You want to understand your lifetime value revenue, which is basically your number of sales times the client lifetime value. Then your lifetime value net profit. So your LTV revenue times your profit margins minus your ad spend. And then your LTV ROI, meaning your lifetime value net profit divided by the ad spend. Because really and truly, if you know you're going to make 15,000 on the back end, on average, not the 10,000, we're willing to spend more money. Because it means that over a couple of periods of time and in months, you'll collect more money With it, therefore, you can spend more money to acquire a new customer. The most common question here is like, how much money should I be spending on my ads to actually make it work? So what you want to do to forecast your ad spend budget, because this is a process of us trying to make it work, not it's going to work once we launch the ads, is the following. We need to be willing to spend double what your cost per acquisition is. Now, if you don't know what your cost per acquisition is, which is how much money are you spending on marketing and sales to sign a new client profitably, this is all you have to do. What we want is your LTV divided by 3 for us to have a healthy CAC of 3-to-1 ratio, meaning I'm going to spend $1, I'm making 3 on the back end. So if our client LTV, we're making $15,000 in profit on every client we sign, I am willing to spend $5,000 to sign that specific client, because that means I have a 3-to-1 CAC ratio. So for every dollar I'm spending on ads, I'm making $3 on that back end. So that means I can spend $5,000 healthily to be able to make and sign clients profitably. So what you want to do then is double your CAC, which is around $10,000 in our case. So that means for the first month, and what I want to be spending on ads and what I'm going to be projecting to spend on ads is $10,000. That's going to give us a healthy enough budget to actually test and make sure and we can optimize this whole client acquisition system to actually work. So that's how you should figure that out. So once you've understood your business maths and it's all making more sense to you now, we should now know how much money we're willing to spend to sign a client and what a healthy bridge and funnel looks like for us to actually make money on the back end. Because without that, we're just shooting in the dark and it doesn't make any sense. So once we know that, the next thing we have to understand is how can we create ads that get attention. We're in the paid ads section of the old bridge. So getting attention with paid ads is actually quite simple once you understand the fundamental roots. So what we want to understand is how can we create high converting ads. And step number 1 is getting clear on the pain. We want to focus on painkiller solutions and desire-based marketing. And the most important thing is focusing on problems that your clients are aware of. Because as experts and consultants and whoever you are, typically you know more about your client problems than they know themselves. Because if they know those problems, they know how to solve them, right? So they're coming to you as the expert to help them solve that specific problem. Now, what most experts get wrong is they talk about the problems that clients don't even know that they have yet. So the most important thing for us to understand is we want to talk about the surface level problems. The problems and the pain points and the things that are keeping your prospects up at night. Like, what are the things going on in your prospect's head? We want to speak to the problems your clients think that they have, not the ones that you know they have, right? They don't know they have a lot of problems underneath it. An example of this would be most people think that they have a lead generation problem. I just need more qualified leads. But I know they need to know how to sell properly, they know how to have conversion systems, they have to create organic content, they have to have email nurturing, they have to have a CRM, they need to know how to manage it. Like, there's so many problems underneath them. But if I talk about those problems, it's going to go over their head because they don't even think that's a problem they have. They only think they need qualified or better leads. So in our marketing, we need to speak to that problem here. We don't want to educate them inside our ads, because ads are not there to educate, they're there to get attention, and we can educate once they become a client and start working with us. So we need to understand what their biggest pain points are and speak to those specific things. The best way I found to make it work is the following. We're going to identify the 3 core pains our clients have. The way we do this is pain 1, example in my case, people are running a low profit and high stress business model. Pain number 2, for example, would be no way to sign clients predictably. Pain number 3 is they're stuck working in the business, not on the biz. So now that we understood those 3 core pains for your specific client that you've created your offer around, we then go into the problem. So what we want to discuss now for this specific pain point, what is their main problem? And you list all of those down. And then what's the solution and desire? What's the actual outcome they want to solve this problem? So if it's a high stress, low profit, the solution is high profit, repeatable delivery, so they're not high stress and always working around the clock, and high paying clients. What are the words they use? So what you want to understand here is write down the exact words your prospects use when they're speaking to you about the problems that they have. For example, high stress. Over here, it's like the quotes they would use on a sales call with me would be, for example, I work every hour of the day, my team don't perform well. Another one would be, working harder than I ever had. My team is growing, but my profits are decreasing. I'm making less money than I would make before. So what we then do is that we're going to use the words that they use in our ads so that they can feel understood, because the winners in marketing are the ones who can explain problems to their prospects better than they can explain them themselves. When you help someone feel understood, when you can go down to their level and help them say, I understand your problem and this is the solution to get out of it, and use desire-based marketing to do it, then that's where the change actually happens. So that's what we want to do there. We list all of those down, we study our sales calls, we understand everything so we can use those in our marketing. So now once we have those all written down, we have our angles that we're going to be using in our ads. And then all we have to do is follow a simple formula that we can use to script out our ads. So the ad script formula we use is hook. We want to call out our clients and talk about our offer, the solution to their pain point. We then want to use authority. Why should they listen to us? What do we have differently? How have we solved this problem in the past? Right? We want to give reasons. We want to give clients who don't know who the hell we are a reason to keep listening. And we do that through authority and through proof. The third thing is we give the value. We talk about our unique mechanism. What makes our service different than everyone else and why should they listen to us? And then the call to action, which is booking a call to learn more and we can talk more about how we can help you solve this problem. And if we can do that, we'll create an ad script for every single pain point and every single quote and every single different angle we have. The idea is we want to test out different angles to figure out what works. So we don't just want one angle, we want different angles. Once we have all the ad scripts, we'll record the ad and get the ad live. We also use images as well that basically does the same thing. Check this image out. This image ad says, real estate agents, steal the Facebook ad strategy our clients use to book 10 qualified leads per month. Download the free guide. Why does it work so well? Calls out client, gives them a unique mechanism, shows them the result that they want, and giving away something for free, which is the call to action. So we want to test out all of these different things. We want to use proof ads. We want to use direct offer ads and indirect ads. Now there'll be another video that I break down all of this in detail because I can be here again till tomorrow talking about these on its own. However, I just want you to explain the concept so you can understand the frameworks and the fundamentals to actually make this work. Now, once we have the ads done, what you then want to do is select the platform and run your ads on those platforms. If you want to learn more about how you could do this, I have a free mini course that breaks down the exact steps you need to take of how to launch the ads, how to set up the ads, how to set up everything you need. So just comment down below and I'll send you over all of the details. Now, once people are actually engaging with the ads and clicking on the ads and seeing the ads, we then need to actually get them to book in a call. And they're not going to book in a call by just seeing the ad and clicking book now, because we need to build more trust with them. And we need to explain exactly what we're going to talk about on the call and how our offer works. And the way we do that is with our offer video. You see, once people click on the traffic, they're going to fill out a form and then they're going to watch a video talking about how the actual offer is. The reason they fill out a form is because we want lead information. We want their name, email, number to add them to our email list so we can eventually nurture those leads and call those leads ourselves on the back end. So once we get that information, we send the SMS, we call, we email, and then they're landed automatically on this specific page. Now, the offer video is very straightforward and easy to understand. We need to create your offer video that explains exactly what it is, how it works, to push them into booking a call. Now, the way it works is simple. The first thing is you have a hook and a call out. We don't want to be clever with this. We just want to call out who the client is. Once we call out the client, we then want to have the offer, the time frame, or the guarantee. So basically, we want to stack the offer and exactly what it is they are getting and the outcome they want to achieve. So it will say, if you're a real estate agent, here's how I can get you 10 qualified leads within the next 30 days, and otherwise you don't pay. That's a random example for you to understand. So we script out the hook, the offer, and then the 3 key results. Basically, what we then do is explain in this video, we're going to break down 3 key results. Number 1, how your offer works, why it works so well, and how you can actually use it. This just gives them information to understand the tangible milestones of what we're explaining once we work together and what is going to be inside the video. Once we do that, we then just stack proof. The idea of this VSL is to build trust and to build authority with these clients, to show them that, okay, if it worked for all these people, it should work for me. So you just want to list down as many client results as you have that's relevant to the specific audience you're talking to. So when you look at this on a timeline horizon of how long each section should be taking in your script and in your video, the first 2 parts should take 5 seconds. The majority of the video is going to be proof and your unique mechanism. So all we're going to be doing, the most important part, and I've seen offer videos work really well, where it's just a whole 10-minute video talking about case studies and client results. Because all we want to do is show people that it's possible for them to actually get the result. We want to increase the perceived likelihood of achievement so they feel like they can actually get results. Now, once we show the proof, we then just tell them, if you want to learn more about how this can work for you, book in a call with the link below. Then we go into showing the unique mechanism of why your offer works so well and why it's different. Then we go into another case study, more proof, and then a call to action. And that's pretty much the video. The videos just explain them what the offer is, how it works, building trust, and telling them to book in a call to learn more. Once that's done, we put that page live, people watch the video and book in calls directly. Now, for the ones who don't book in a call, we need to understand how we can convert leads to a call through messages or calling them. So the way this works, in this section over here, is very straightforward. We have a 4-step process where we can get people from a DM or a call into an actual sales conversation. The way it works is following. Number 1, we need to start a conversation. We're going to tell our clients, thanks for reaching out. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions to figure out if I can help you and we can help you? We just want to engage them in a conversation. We don't want to tell them to book in a call because that's going to increase sales resistance. We just want to keep it basic, start a conversation, be a normal human being. The second thing is, once they respond to that, we find a problem. We ask them, what's their biggest challenge right now and what's holding you back from solving it? Once they tell us that, we then future pace their goal. We would say something like, so what would you say is your goal for the next 6 months in your real estate career right now? What we want to do is make sure we're acknowledging their messages and relating to them. Be a human and don't be a weirdo, right? Say, I hear you, I've solved that problem in the past before, and we have got clients who had that problem and achieved this result. We just want to actually relate to them and be a normal human being and actually be there to genuinely be interested to see if we can help them. Once we future pace the goal, we ask for the offer, which is, okay, cool, I got you. Are you looking for help with hitting those numbers? Because that's the exact problem we've had hundreds of agents in the past actually solve. Would love to see if there's a fit. Once they say yes, we then book them into a sales call. That's simple how it works. You use this script and you use this process for messaging your leads, calling your leads to book more sales call in. So the people who didn't watch this video can actually get results. So now the last piece of the whole puzzle, which is the sales process. Imagine you've done all of this hard work. You've built out your offer, you've run the ads, you've recorded the ads, you've launched the ads, you've created your VSL video, you've launched the VSL video. And now it's like, okay, now we actually have to close these clients. And typically what would happen to me was I jump on calls and the majority of the time they say, yeah, sounds good, send me a proposal, send me an email, and I'd just get ghosted by everyone. So what you have to understand is that we need to have a clear sales process that we can follow every single time that's going to maximize our success and chances of actually closing this deal. The idea of a sales process, we want to close people on the call. We don't want to be sending proposals and waiting 3 months and not. We want to get commitment over a call, and there's a way we can do this by following a clear sales process. I'm going to highlight this from a high level point of view because, again, this is another whole video, an hour-long, 2-hour-long training video. I can be here till tomorrow explaining this again. I just want you to understand before I explain this. Every single one of these steps is a lot of work. And if you're not ready to put in this work to make it work, it's never going to work for you, and don't run paid ads. But I just want you to help you understand is that there's a whole session about how to create your offer. There's a whole topic about funnel building. There's a whole topic about how to script your ads and how to create high-performing converting ads. There's a whole topic about how you can build your offer video. All of these are separate training and modules and skills you need to learn. That's how you get this to work, and that's how you can have this superpower that I was talking about before. Because once all of these are working together, then you're going to have a predictable system to actually make it work. And without having this high-level knowledge and these foundations, nothing will make sense because you'll just blame the ads are not good, the leads are not good, the ads aren't converting, and all of the other excuses you're going to tell yourself because you're not aware of the problems that you need to fix. So coming back to the sales process, sorry for my little rant, the way this is going to work is the following. Every single time we have a sales call, we're going to follow the exact same process and the same script. We need to have a script and we need to rehearse it over and over again to make sure we're delivering it in the best possible way. So the first part of the call is the introduction. We're going to be normal, we're going to set the agenda, and we're going to hold authority. We're going to build rapport and just start framing the call. We're not going to go into this call and say, how was your weekend? How have you been? How is the weather? Fuck that shit. We want to go in and hold authority and just show people why they're there. People don't want to waste their time. So we're going to go in and say, hey, prospect name. The way this call works is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to figure out where you are in your business right now, like what you're struggling with, what's working for you, what's not working for you. And if there's a fit, I can show you how that works and I can present you my offer. And if not, I'll still be able to guide you in the right direction. How does that sound? They're going to say, good. Now you move on. Notice that you want the whole frame throughout the whole call. You need to have authority and you need to be in control of this call because otherwise they're going to say, yeah, I just want to know the price. That's not going to work. You need to be in charge of this call, and you need to have a script and a process you need to follow to be able to be in charge of the call. Once you have the introduction done, we go to discovery, where now is where we're going to paint the picture and understand everything about this client. It's really important we ask background questions. What are you? What are you selling? What type of product are you serving? And those type of questions. We're then going to find the problem. We're not going to move on until we find what the biggest bottleneck in the business is right now. So where I start the discovery is typically, what would you say is your biggest bottleneck in the business right now? What's not working for you at the level you think it could be or should be? They're going to tell you, I need more leads. Cool. We're going to ask what type of leads they want, where they're getting their leads from, and then chunking down. Chunking down means getting to the actual numbers. So, okay, cool. How many leads did you get last month? How many leads did you get the month before? Where did those leads come from? How many of those leads did you convert? What's your process on those leads? What are you using right now? Understanding everything about the business. Then we go into doubt questions. It's okay, cool. What's stopping you from solving this problem yourself? They're going to tell you those problems. Then you're going to go financial resources questions. Then solution questions, meaning what have you tried in the past? Why didn't it work when you worked with another marketing agency? What didn't work about it? Why didn't it work? Because what we want to be doing is figuring out all the objections they might have at the end and just understanding exactly what they've tried, what's not working for them, so that we could use those to position our offer as the solution. Because what we want to do on a sales call is two things. We want them to get them to say yes to the process, to our offer, and to us. And we also want them to feel that the pitch and our offer is exactly what they need right now in order to get them from where they are to where they want to go. If we could do that, we're winning. And on top of that, we want to show them why what they've tried in the past didn't work and why this time it would be different. And in order for us to do that in our pitch, we need to understand everything about them so we can pitch our service in a different way than what they've tried in the past. We then want to use cost of inaction questions, like what happens if nothing changes in 6 months, 12 months, what happens if you stay the same? And then we want to go on the goal. Once we go on the goal, we want to understand the financial goal, if it's a finance or a biz op, and then we want to attach an emotion to the goal. Okay, cool. If you hit this goal, what does that actually mean for your life? Because we want to attach an emotion to it because that's where change actually happens. And once you've acknowledged them, if you can help them, you're going to say, yeah, cool. This is the exact problem we solve. Would you like me to explain what the process would look like? We ask for permission. They're going to say yes. And then we pitch. We're going to pitch our high level promise first. We're going to then show them our bridge and show them what our offer actually is. And then how it's delivered. It's very important we have an easy and simple way for us to communicate what our offer is in a way that they will understand. There's another whole video and training session I have on this. So if you want to learn more about how to script your sales calls and all of that stuff, comment down below and I'll help you solve that and show you how to do it. And yeah, the pitch is the most important part, and the pitch needs to be customized based on what they told you in the past. We need to use tiebacks. We need to relate to say, you know, earlier in the call, you told me this is a problem. Here's how we help you solve it. You know, you told me earlier in the call, this was a problem. Here's how we help you solve it. We want to customize the pitch so it feels like this is exactly what they need right now to get them from where they are to where they want to go. Once we've done all of that, we go to the commitment stage, which is we temp check to say, okay, cool. Do you feel like this is exactly what you need? Because you don't want a price drop before they're 100% bought in. We then show them what the next steps would be like working with us, price drop, objection handle, close the deal, move on from there. Again, that's a quick high-level view of what the sales process needs to look like. You need to have this in your business because if you don't, you're running paid ads for no fucking reason at all. Because without a clear sales process, then you're not going to be signing clients consistently. And then your whole funnel and your whole bridge is not going to work. Once you have that done right, dollar bills, y'all. You're signing new clients consistently. And then all it is using a tracking sheet to understand where the biggest bottleneck in your business is so we can optimize and we can keep working. For example, if our close rate is less than 30%, we know we have a sales issue. So we're going to be using a tracking sheet to understand every single number, to understand what do we need to optimize to make this better. If our show rates are low, people are not showing up to the calls, what can we figure out and what can improve to do that? If our ads are not converting, meaning we're not generating any leads, okay, cool. Let's come back here and optimize these ads to make sure that within the KPI window of the $15 per lead. If ads are being clicked on and people are signing up, but no one's actually booking calls, cool, that means we have an issue here. So just understand the amount of work that needs to go in to make your paid ad systems work. It's not as simple as running ad and generating a lead. And if you're not ready to put in the work to understand all of the different skills that will take you months to learn, then it's never going to work for you. Once you sign new clients and you have this working, you have a power that you can use for any business over and over again. It will change your life like it changed mine and all of my clients. And I'm telling you, it will change your life once you commit yourself to understanding all of this. Because once you have that power, you can sign clients whenever you want it on a predictable basis. Now, on top of that, as a side note, once you sign clients, you can create client reviews and you can use these reviews as more ads to get more people, to build more trust, to actually make this work better. Now, once you do all of that, you're going to typically say, But Sam, I can't close. I need better leads, because you're only converting a few of those. But you have to understand you're only ever going to convert a small percentage of the amount of leads you generate, because not everyone's ready to buy. And then we need to learn another system, which is understanding that qualified leads are created, not found. You must deserve the right to attract qualified leads. Even if you have the best ads in the world, we need to build trust with those people. Think about this. Who is going to convert more leads into sales? Someone who has organic content, YouTube content, running ads, retargeting, emails, or you with one simple ad? Obviously, the person that has way more trust in the marketplace. So the way we do that is by using something I call, and we've built, the trust loop strategy, where we get people and nurture people through a sales asset pack, which is YouTube videos, attention hijacking, which is retargeting campaigns, email engine, which is running emails to these leads as soon as they're generated to nurture them, and then building your personal brand. And if you have this, we can hijack attention and build trust so that when people move up the pyramid of so once we implement this, we can hijack attention and build trust as quickly as possible with our clients, because only 3% are looking to buy now. All of the other leads are thinking about it. So when they move up this pyramid naturally, how can we be the ones they actually want to work with? And we do that by using the trust loop strategy that takes clients from low trust to high trust that want to actually work with us. And there's a whole other system and training on this. I'm not going to go into more of it, but that's pretty much the system you need to understand about making millions with paid ads. Might seem like a lot, but all we just have to do is just tackle each individual bottleneck we have, step by step, optimize to make it work, and optimize to actually start printing money. Once you do that, you have all of the systems and skills you need to learn to make money predictably with paid ads online. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments, leave them below. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to be able to give you any advice I can give you, but that's my 2 cents. And I wanted to make this video because I wish someone had made this video earlier and I had seen this video earlier. So it's really and truly a video I wanted to make to my younger self to show that person what's involved to make this shit work. It might sound complicated, but really and truly, once you break it down to each individual step and you learn the skills, it's not that bad. Once you have the skills, you're set free and you know how to make money whenever you want to do it in your business or anyone else's. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.